Good morning, lady bosses. Welcome to our Tuesday morning live. Boy, I just have run in from a meeting, got everything set up, and I'm just like, didn't have a lot of time to prepare, but I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about our topic today. Good morning, whoever just popped in. Good morning. Happy to have you here. So give it just a minute. We got two people. Let's see if a third one pops in quick, then we'll get started. Hey, Rachie, how are you? Okay, there's number three. Okay, so listen, let's get started. If anybody misses the beginning, they can go back and look at it again. Four people. Hey, ladies. Okay, so let's get started. We're talking about, do you really need it or do you just want it? And the thing is, I have no doubt, hey, Bunny, I have no doubt that when you hear that, your first thought goes to your finances, not your time, not your energy, but the things we're going to talk about can definitely apply to everything, as far as really helping to prioritize what you're spending your money on, prioritize what you're spending your time on. Because, a lot of us, most of us here are entrepreneurs. And so it's easy to get into the financial money crunches and, there's stuff you think you need, but you can't afford it. Morning Flo, morning Linda. So we're going to start with the financial aspect because maybe it's just regarding your business that in your business, you don't feel like you have enough money made yet to spend on the things that you need. But hey, maybe your whole life is in a big financial crisis. So let's start with the financial part of it. If you're in, you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're in network marketing or direct sales, maybe you opened a brick and mortar, whatever you're doing, there's some things like especially direct sales, stuff like that, where you can start your business with literally little to no outlay of money, right? And then you can grow it pretty well through social media, again, at no additional cost. But here's the deal. There's going to come a point in time where you're going to look at wanting to take the next step or go the next step. Maybe you need to get headshots done. Maybe you need to, go to certain workshops or even work with a coach. Or maybe you need to expand your reach and you want to join some networking groups, but you don't have the money. So this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about looking at where you're spending money and figuring out how you can free up money for the things that are more important. And listen, if you're in direct sales or network marketing, how often do your potential clients have a cost objection? Like, oh, man, I just really can't afford that right now. Maybe hit me up at tax season. If I'm getting a refund, maybe I'll do it then. And part of your training is how to deal with cost objections, because a lot of times, none of us are stupid. And a lot of times you can see right through it. And you can see somebody's lifestyle and know that there should be no cost objection. Like, okay, it's not a matter of not having the money. It's just, this isn't what you want to spend it on right now. And that's fine. But I think my biggest goal in this presentation today is to just help you look at your situation and start to be honest with yourself. Because if I say to you, I can't afford such and such, but you look at my lifestyle and you look at the way I spend my free time, yada, yada, you're not stupid either. And I'm not pulling the wool over your eyes. You're like, of course she can afford it, but again, it just might not be on my radar, might not be on what I want to do right now. So let's just first off get honest with ourselves. Like for me to be honest and say, it's not that I can't afford it. Those words should never come out of your mouth unless literally you're on food stamps and even in cases like that, listen, we all, I believe, do a lot of frivolous spending of time and money. So my goal is just to have you be honest with yourself, to take a very honest look at what you're doing and how you're doing it so that you can determine whether you want to do things differently. It's totally about choice. There's no judgment. If you want to wear designer clothes and carry designer handbags and wear designer shoes, but not spend money, say, on your health, on maybe joining a gym or eating more healthy because, healthy food is more expensive, whatever it is. I just want you to get to a place where you own that being healthy is not as important to you as looking good. That's all. And again, it's seriously no judgment. I'm sorry for laughing. It's no judgment, but it comes down to what's more important to you, right? It's not about what you can or can't afford. It's about what you choose to spend your money on. So from a financial aspect, I have an exercise I'd like you to think about. And actually, the same exercise is going to apply to your time and energy, but we're going to start with finances. So I challenge you to take 1 month 1 month of your bank statement and 1 month of your credit card statements. And take a piece of paper and make 2 columns, and make 1 column that says needs and 1 column that says wants, and start to understand that what you need is food, shelter, and clothing. That's all you need. And do you need food at a 5-star restaurant where you're going to drop $200 a couple every time you go out? Or do you just need sustenance? Your need is just what is going to keep you alive. That is all you need in life, okay? Everything else is wants. Seriously, everything else is wants. I mean, you can say I need it, but no, if it's not one of those 3 things, you just want it. Now, here's what we're going to do. You're going to go through every single thing you spent money on last month. Went to Starbucks, got my caramel macchiato, venti size, and whatever else. And, I paid this, I did mortgage. Okay, so the mortgage goes in the needs column. The macchiato goes in the wants column. But go down, and every single nickel you spent, and we're just going to do this for 1 month, just to give you a picture of what's going on day to day in your life. So if it's a need, put it in the need column. If it's a want, put it in the want column. When you get to the end of the month, your one column is going to be pretty long and your need column is going to be pretty short. Now take your one column and prioritize it. Okay? All the things that are in that column, put a star next to the things that are most important and bump them up to the top of the column. And guess what? When you look at everything on the bottom of that list, what are the chances you could do without it? Okay, so it's just showing you, if you're really in financial straits, it's just going to show you where you can start to free up some money in your life. Because if you see that you're habitually going into Starbucks every morning for a venti caramel macchiato, that's $5-6 a day. That's a few $100 a month. Am I doing the math right? Yeah. So 5-6 times 3, yeah, it's $200 a month, a couple $100 a month. So still, that's a couple $100 a month. That could be a car payment. Half a car payment, depending on what you try, or obviously what you drive, but it could be different. But still, that's substantial. That's really substantial. And that's one thing. You make it at home. You can make it, and it's not that you have to cut that out, but do you have to do it every day? Again, it's just going to be an exercise in showing you where you're spending your money, because I have no doubt that there's money you're spending that you don't even realize. Because listen, if you have $50 in your pocket or any amount of cash in your pocket, and I know a lot of people don't even carry cash anymore, but if you do, debit card, same thing. At the end of the week, if you've spent $50 on your debit card or the $50 in your pocket has disappeared, how often do you even remember what you spent it on? Most likely, none of it was related to a need. Most of it was just related on stuff you wanted. You wanted to go get a latte and spend $8 on it or whatever. And that's fine. All I want you to do is have an honest understanding of how this all looks, because I don't ever want to hear the words, I can't afford it, because you are just choosing to let something else be more important. And again, I can't say it enough. There is no judgment. If it's more important to you to have that caramel macchiato every day, and that's important to you, that's fine. But don't tell me you can't afford to have, a healthy dinner because healthy food is more expensive. And, bottom line, it is. Don't tell me you can't afford it because you are just choosing to do something else instead with your money. So drives me crazy to hear that lingo. I gave the illustration last week of, great, Colleen. Thanks. I hope you give it a shot. I gave the illustration last week of the guy my husband worked with. My husband drove a Harley at the time, and the guy he worked with said, God, I wish I could afford a Harley. And my husband said, Dan, if you look at the money you spend every week on beer and cigarettes, he said, you could afford 3 Harleys. That's not saying don't smoke and don't drink your beer. That's fine. But don't say you can't afford it. You're just choosing to spend your money somewhere else. So let's eradicate that word from our vocabulary, because I don't think anybody on this call or in this group is in a situation where seriously, they're so destitute that they don't know where the next meal's coming from, and all they can afford is ramen noodles, and they have no car. And I'm talking like really not having your basic needs met. We're all having our basic needs met. And I guarantee we're all spending money that we don't need to be spending if we say we need that money somewhere else. Okay? So I'm just saying, let's get rid of that word. if you're presented with something and you don't want to do it, and listen, maybe in your mind, yeah, I can't afford it because I'm choosing to spend my money somewhere else. Just stop saying I can't afford it. Just say, you know what? That's just not where I want to spend my money right now. But when you say that, you're almost setting up a situation for people to judge you because they're looking at your Coach bag and they're looking at your designer outfit and thinking, this doesn't jive. This just doesn't make sense. Or they watch, they see you on Facebook, they see you're out partying 3 times a week and you're spending money left and right. So let's just get rid of the word, because I think more than anything, it removes the fact that you're setting yourself up for judgment, and none of us should be judging. So just like I said, get rid of the word. Just own the fact that that's not where you're choosing to place your priorities. That's all. The other area is going to be your time, your energy. Okay. The thing I dislike hearing, as much as I dislike hearing, I can't afford it, is, I'm too busy. Oh my gosh. I get up 3:00 in the morning. I only sleep 4 hours at night, and I don't stop until I go to bed, and I don't even have time to eat. I can barely find time to go to the bathroom. Oh my gosh, people wear busyness as a badge of honor, and it's not. I mean, there's so many different ways of looking at it, but that kind of a statement is not a badge of honor. I don't hear somebody say that and think, oh, wow, that is so amazing. You must be superwoman. I listen to that and I think, I would love to be a fly on the wall for a day, because there's no way you're that busy. There's no way you're that busy being productive. Maybe you're being busy, but maybe you're busy playing video games all day or watching TV all day. I don't know. But I guarantee nobody is that busy, because we've all heard the phrase over the years that if you want something done, ask a busy person, right? You're not going to ask that kind of a busy person. You're going to ask the person who gets stuff done. You're going to ask the person who's productive as opposed to busy, because you know what? They know if they don't have time to do it, if they legitimately can't do it and do it justice, they're going to know how to say no. But if they do take it on, that person knows how to structure their time, how to focus and get things done without distractions, and they're going to do the best job for you as anybody else you can ask. So let's look at the difference between busy and productive. Okay. There's just, being busy is not a good thing necessarily. Being productive is a good thing. So people who are just, crying the blues all the time, and yet some of these same people I know have flailing businesses, and I know they aren't putting a lot of energy into their businesses. And I just have to wonder, what are they so busy doing? Because I'm not seeing any fruit of it. So if you can erase 2 words from your vocabulary and make everybody so much happier and want to be around you more, erase the word busy, and the phrase that you can't afford something. Let's own it. If you're that busy that you can't do anything, you're choosing to be that busy doing whatever it is you're doing. Whether or not you're being productive, I'm saying my bets are that you're not that productive 20 hours a day of the 4 hours a day you're not sleeping, because that's just nearly impossible. And that's just, a smart, productive person is not going to push themselves that hard. So I kind of doubt it. So I'm just saying, let's get honest and own it. So let's do the same exercise with your time that you just did with your finances, and take a sheet of paper, and half of it's going to be marked needs and wants, for lack of other terms, but let's define it differently. The needs are the things that you're doing in a day that are things that you really need to do to improve your personal life, to move your business forward, whatever your real priorities are. The things you do that relate to those priorities and are definitely going to move them forward, they go in the needs column. Everything else goes in the wants column. Okay? So some things might be your morning ritual. Maybe you have a morning ritual. I agree that is really a very important thing that's going to take care of you physically, emotionally, personally, and give you what you need to get into your day and really be productive. But let's look at the morning ritual. Are you spending an hour on it, which is a good amount of time? Or do you get sucked in and 3 hours later, you're still doing your morning ritual? Okay? Just like personal development. Maybe you love personal development, and that's very important, and I would consider that a need, not a want. But again, you've got to limit the amount of time you're spending on it, because if you're spending all day doing things for personal development, but you never get into action and implement any of them, then you're not being productive and you're not focusing on what's most important, which is the results, the outcome. The reason you're doing the personal development is to have the outcome of good relationships, good business, good finances, whatever it is you're studying. If you're not ever getting to the outcome, then it's like being a career student, somebody who just goes to college the rest of their life because they just love learning and being a student, but they never implement anything. So again, make those columns. Again, another activity that might be in the needs column is, you might need to take a break during the day. You need to take a break from just staring at the computer or doing what you're doing. Again, it's very necessary, but analyze how much time you're spending on it. Because if you need to take a break and you make the mistake that some people make, and I did this years ago when I very, very first started working at home, sitting in front of TV and saying, I'm just going to watch for an hour just to, relax, catch my breath, and then I'm going to get back to work and I'll be good to go. And then 4 hours later, it's time to get off the sofa and make dinner because that's all you did the rest of the day. Or you get sucked into a computer game. I used to have computer games on my phone for the very reason that, I just needed to take a break now and then and just like free my mind from thinking and working. And it would have been great if I'd done it for 15 minutes. But I'd get sucked in for hours and I would have 3 games downloaded so that when I ran out of lives on one, I could jump to another one. And when I ran out of lives on that, I could jump to another one. And by then, the first one had refurbished all my lives. So they were back and I could start over again. So it was draining my time. And again, if you want to create time to do the things that are important, I'm sorry, not for anybody should that be at the top of the list. That's for a break, for a breather, yeah, but only if you can limit the time. If you can't limit your time, then get rid of it. I mean, I've had to just totally take them off my phone a couple of years ago because I know that's a trigger for me to get sucked into a black hole and not get anything else done. So the bottom line, and listen, this is the things I'm saying, like everything I say, might be true for a lot of you, and I'm not saying it's true for everyone. There may be some of you who are definitely in a situation that you can't see your way out of, and it's a very tough situation. But for most of us, I think we're in the situations we're in because it's where we choose to be. We talked last week about remembering what you don't change, what you're not changing, you're choosing. We're where we are because we're choosing to be there. And listen, a really important thing to think about is why are you choosing to be there? And I'll tell you what, because of another presentation I did months ago and some research I did, a lot of the reason that we choose to be in a situation that we really don't want to be in is because to do the work to get out of it can often be very uncomfortable. It can be scary. It can be uncomfortable. And so it's just easier, you stay with the devil, kind of thing. I mean, we talk about that with relationships and other things, but it's also true of our life situation. This is your comfort zone. And everybody knows it's not easy to toe dip out of your comfort zone. So realize that the reason things aren't changing is because it's hard to change. So you've got to battle that fear. You've got to kick fear in the face, do it scared, do stuff anyway, but focus on what you want to achieve. Focus on why you want to achieve it. Make sure you've attached something emotional to that so that you really have a strong, strong desire to reach that goal. And then just step out and do the uncomfortable things. And before you know it, you'll see more structure to your day. You'll see more structure in your finances. I mean, face it, if your finances are really in a bind and you don't know how you're paying your bills next month, but you're spending $8 a day on a caramel macchiato, you got to start deciding what's more important. And okay, maybe I have to totally drive a different way to work so I don't pass the Starbucks. Figure out what you can do to minimize that temptation so that you're not even going to want to do it. So realize, whether it's your finances, whether it's your time, look at it, look at the things you can eliminate, because everything you eliminate is going to free up more money to do the things that are important. If you want to move your business forward and you don't have the money to join the networking group you want to join, how much do you need and what do you have to cut out to come up with that money? But you can do it. You can figure it out. Or the time. You don't have the time to do the things you want to do. So what can you free up so that you can focus on the things that are more important? So I challenge you to make these lists, needs on one side, wants on the other, and start looking at that side of wants and prioritize them, and everything at the bottom of that list can go. Because if it wasn't that important anyway, why are you spending your money or your time on it? So again, I just want to reiterate more than anything and be clear that there's no judgment here. If you choose to struggle to pay the bills every month so that you can wear designer clothes, then that's your choice. All I'm asking you to do is own that that's your choice, and don't cry that you don't have the money to be able to afford to pay your bills, because you're choosing something different. Let's just start getting honest with ourselves and understanding that everything we do and how our lives go day to day, for the most part, is our choices. You can't blame anybody else. You can make the change. You're not making it, then it's your choice. So just totally, that's all I'm asking, is that you be honest and understand that what you have and what you do is what you choose. So all that being said, that was a mouthful. Anybody have any comments or any thoughts or questions? And if you don't have them before we wrap up, feel free to throw them in the chat later. Even if you're watching the recording, throw them in the recording later and I'll answer your questions later. And while I'm waiting just a minute to see if anybody has any thoughts, I do want to tell you too, I'm going to post something maybe today. Today, I'll do it as soon as we get off. But I'd love to get some more ideas. I've periodically thrown out some ideas for what topics you would like to hear. And I'd like to hear again. We've got some new members I'm excited to welcome. And maybe those new members have specific topics they'd really like to hear too. So yeah, think about that. Think about what you want to talk about. And that's what we'll tackle next. So, okay, looks like that's it. Well, ladies, have a great day. Have a great week. I will see you here next week, and go be the boss of your life. See ya.